I'm in Shenandoah National Park in the Southern District. This is mile marker 83, Browns Gap. There's a nice parking lot right here. Up there, Skyline Drive. That's Skyline Drive heading south that way. There's my little red car. And the Appalachian Trail crosses over right here. There's the Appalachian Trail, and that's where I'm going to start my hike, climbing the mountain here a little bit, and we're going to head towards Lewis Peak. Six-tenths of a mile into my hike. I've been hiking the AT. I'm up to 2825, and there's the signpost. I'm going to turn left here and head this way towards Lewis Peak. Looks like I got to climb some more elevation here. There's where I came from, along the Appalachian Trail, and the AT continues northbound that way. But I'm going to turn here, and we're going to head on up towards Lewis Peak. .3 miles into my hike, and I'm at a four-way crossing here. The elevation here is 2660, and if you go to the right, that takes you down towards Big Run. Back that way is where I came from. If you take a left this way, this takes you down to Madison Run. And we're going to continue on straight towards Lewis Mountain. .7 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 2720. I'm not changing elevation much because I'm already up on a ridgeline. Here's the next intersection. If you go to the left, that takes you over to Austin Mountain and then down to Madison Run. We're going to go to the right, which is Rockytop Trail, and continuing on towards Lewis Peak. Big rock slide area. Here's where I'm headed. I'm a few miles west of my car now, so I'm starting to see the edge of the park out that way. Shenandoah Valley out that way, and Madison mountain range beyond there. Another month you won't be able to see anything. All these trees will have leaves on them. Big summit up there. Here's where I came from. That's where I'm headed over there. That's Lewis Mountain Summit. So, get myself across this rock slide, and then we're going to have to hang a left to work our way over there. Three miles into my hike, I'm up to 2820 elevation, and I think this is the peak elevation for the hike. Most of this hike is following a ridgeline, so you're hiking up and down, but not too bad. That last little stretch was a climb, though. That's where I came from, and here's where I'm going. Not much to see right now. Lewis Peak's over there to the left, so I don't know. Hopefully when I get over there there'll be something to 3.6 miles into my hike. The elevation is 2760, and here's the next turnoff. The Rockytop Trail continues on to the right, but we're going to go straight ahead up to Lewis Peak. I think it's about another mile. Here's where I came from. It's a rock slide area, so there's no trees here. There's a rock slide area. Still heading up towards the peak. .9 miles into my hike. The elevation is 2630. And I stepped off the trail. The trail's up there a little ways, but this is a big rock slide area here, so came down to catch the view. There's looking to the north. There's Rockytop Mountain. Big rock slide area. Shenandoah Valley. Off in the distance there's the Madison mountain range, and that pointy peak there is the southern tip of the Madison mountain range right there. And right there is Lewis Peak. That's where I'm headed. .4.5 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 2550. And right here at this signpost, the trail makes a sharp turn to the left that way. But just keep going straight up the hill here. And according to that sign there, the summit's up here 3/10 of a mile. Let's go. Almost to the summit. Here's where I'm headed. It's a nice view to the west here. This area here looks like it got burnt a little bit in the big fire last year. Madison Run is down there in that valley. Back that way is where I came from. This is a pan from real close to the summit. Beautiful day up here. A little breezy, but beautiful day. .9 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 2712. When you come up here to the peak, you come up from that direction and you'll come down through here and you'll see this little campsite, and you just keep going straight. It's kind of like bushwhacking around the bend there and up to the top. I got within about, maybe 50 feet of the summit. The summit's totally grown over though. So I stopped just below it where the rocks are and got some shots. And then came on back down here. It's almost 1 o'clock. So I'm going to set up camp here, and this is just below the summit. And some shade there, so I'm going to set up my day hammock and eat some lunch. Alright, there's my day hammock setup right there. It's pretty windy up here, so it's acting like a sail. Same setup as last week. I've got a continuous loop on the end of the hammock right here. And I got my Dutch cinch buckles. That one's made out of aluminum, and the strap is made of Dyneema, which is extremely strong and lightweight. And then up here around the tree is a titanium Dutch clip. So the whole setup is courtesy of Dutch gear. Go Dutch. So I'm gonna have something to eat, and then I'm gonna lay in a hammock for a little while like I usually do and well, there's lunch, the usual stuff. A bumblebee tuna, sun-dried tomato and basil, flour tortillas, and a Nature Valley trail bar, dark chocolate and nut, which is dark chocolate, peanuts and raisins. Wash it down with some water. I gotta save room though when I get back to Madison. You know what they have in Madison. Tastee Freez. Alrighty. Getting blown away up here up near the summit here. It's kind of windy. There's my little day pack hanging from a tree so the bugs don't get in it. Got my hammock up. That's looking to the west down to the valley, Shenandoah Valley. Oh, I'm hanging from some pine trees. There's my look up. Not much to see. Trees and blue sky. Man, it rained like crazy yesterday, but now look at it now. Wow. It's really nice. Summit's up that way. A couple 100 yards. And this campsite here, I mean, it's got pine needles and stuff. I'll mark it on my GPS. You could bring a little 2-man tent up here or something. So I'm going to relax a little bit here, and then I got to head back to my car. It's 5 miles back to my car. Woo! It's going to take me a while to get back. In the meantime, I'm going to finish drinking my water. I don't know if you can focus that close or not. But anyway, my water. Got my equalizer here because I'm miles from civilization. Little Smith & Wesson 38 Special. Air weight. Real nice. That's what I like to carry. Well, I'll take some pictures on the way back. I saw some pretty good vantage points, so I'll get some still pics on the way back. Jeez, 5 miles back to my car. Oh man. Oh well. Nothing like 10 miles in the mountains to wake you up. Miles into my hike, back to the intersection with the Austin Mtn Trail. The elevation here is 2,700 feet, and I've got some, sorry, picking bugs off me. I'm resting here for a minute, and then I'm going to continue on up that hill there. I've got more hill to climb to get myself back up to the Appalachian Trail, and then I'm going to turn to the south, and it's down back to the 9.2 miles into my hike. I'm back to the Appalachian Trail. Woohoo! It's all downhill from here. Let's see, my elevation is 2,800 feet. And there's where I came from, over that rise. And you come down here to the Appalachian Trail and turn right and head south. It's about 6/10 of a mile back to Brown's Gap, back to my car. All downhill. Here's a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is McGaheysville, 1999, and I hiked to Lewis Peak. This red line here is Skyline Drive coming down from the north. I came in at Swift Run Gap, US 33 at Standardsville, Virginia, which is mile marker about 64 or 65. So you head south on Skyline Drive down to right here, Brown Gap, which is mile marker 83. There's a over here on the west side, there's a nice parking lot, plenty of space to park there. And coming into the parking lot right here is the Appalachian Trail. It crosses over at Brown's Gap right there and then heads south like this. Okay, so you get onto the Appalachian Trail northbound. This part here is a fairly steep climb up to the peak here. And then from here the AT continues on to the north. But there's a signpost here, you turn left on Rockytop Trail. I think this signpost basically says Austin Mountain and Lewis Peak. It may also say Rockytop. But anyway, you turn left here onto Rockytop Trail. When you get to here, you just continue straight. This is a trail that goes down to Big Run, and on this side it takes you on down to the Madison Run Fire Road. But you just continue straight through that intersection, and you're hiking along a ridgeline. Now the ridgeline does go up and down some, but it's not too bad. Now when you get to here, this is the turnoff for Austin Mtn Trail. You continue straight along the ridge line. When you get to here, this map from 1999 shows this trail here, but it doesn't exist anymore. I looked for it, didn't see it. So that's an abandoned trail. Just keep on hiking along the ridge line. It's a pretty good ways. When you get to here, this is the branch off. If you go to the right, you would stay onto the Rockytop Trail, but you take a left here onto the Lewis Peak Trail. Start heading over to the west like this. And then right here, this trail, the Lewis Peak Trail, makes a sharp turn to the left and then heads down the side of the mountain. But what you do is you continue on more or less in a straight direction all the way up to the peak. Now I drew this peak in with a little hook to the left because that's what was on this map, but actually this thing comes around to the right like this. It comes around like that and up. And when you get right about here, there's a campsite. Just below the peak, there's a campsite right here that you'll see in my video. And then you just go past the campsite, on around, curling around the bend here to the right, up to the summit. So I came up there, got some shots, set up my little hammock and stuff here. Yeah, it was nice up there. And then basically just hiked all the way back. It was almost a 10-mile hike and about 2,000 feet of ascent. So this is a pretty long hike, but it's nice. The only really steep part is this initial part getting up to here, and then from here all the way out, it's just up and down like a roller coaster. There isn't a whole lot of net elevation gain. You're up around between 27 and 2,800 feet pretty much this whole way. But because of the roller coaster ride up and down along the ridgeline, you end up with 2,000 feet of ascent. So that's a real nice hike. And right now you can still see neighboring mountains because the trees haven't fully developed their leaves yet up there. But I would say in another couple of weeks you'll be hiking in a green tunnel up there. Except for right about here, there's a big rock slide with a view up to the north. And then when you get up to the peak, of course, there's the views up there. Real nice hike. And that was the hike for today.